What's up, and thank you for watching. I am Trevor Rolls, and today we're going to be reviewing this book, Person of Interest by J. Warner Wallace. But before we get into that, if you like what's going on here at Theosogetica, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you can stay up to date with us as we put out more content on theology, philosophy, science, and religion. So looking at this book, the title is Person of Interest, and the subtitle, Why Jesus Still Matters in a World That Rejects the Bible. Now this is a thicker book compared to J. Warner Wallace's previous books. It is 336 pages, put out by Zondervan Reflective Publishing. This book released September 21st, 2021, so it was not that long ago, and it is currently listed on Amazon for $17.99, although the list price is $19.99. Now, I was fortunate enough to be part of a pre-launch and launch team where we read through a digital copy of this book prior to its release. We also had weekly videos from the author and several different meetings and Zoom conferences with him to discuss the content of the book. So that was really awesome. But I did pre-order my own paperback, and you can get this on digital Kindle paperback. You can get it in audiobook, and you can get it in CD format. I also ordered the audiobook because I wanted to give it a quick listen from start to finish freshly before I did this review. So let's take a minute and talk about the author, J. Warner Wallace. J. Warner Wallace is a nationally acclaimed homicide detective as well as a cold case investigator, but most notably, he is an atheist turned Christian as a result of him investigating Jesus, God, and Christianity as if they were one of his police cases. Wallace is the author of several other books, including the book that started it all, Cold Case Christianity, as well as God's Crime Scene and Forensic Faith. He also has degrees in design and architecture, as well as a master's degree in theological studies. Wallace has written extensively on the subjects of Jesus, God, Christianity, and religion in general. He publishes frequently blog articles and videos, and also runs an online community which can all be found at coldcasechristianity.com. So in all of his books, Wallace uses a technique where he tells three separate narratives. So the first part of the narrative will be a story about a police investigation. And the second part of the narrative will be how those investigative techniques transfers into his investigation into that aspect of Christianity. And finally, the third part of the narrative is his own personal journey from atheism to Christianity. What's unique about this book, Person of Interest, is the technique that he uses. J. Warner Wallace investigates Jesus in the same manner that he investigates what he calls a no-body homicide. What Wallace says about this kind of crime is that it's really hard to get it taken to prosecution. It's really hard to get a conviction because there's no body. So the investigative techniques that have to be used are a lot different from a standard investigation. So these are special tactics according to Wallace, and in this book he uses these special set of tactics to investigate Jesus. What's really interesting about this no-body technique that Wallace uses here is the body that he's talking about. The body that's missing from this specific investigation is the New Testament itself. So J. Warner Wallace investigates Jesus without using the New Testament documents as any form of authoritative evidence. So how Wallace does this in his criminal investigations is he treats the event or the crime as an explosion, and he looks at two components of the explosion: the fuse leading up to the explosion and the fallout from the explosion. So it's really three components: the crime, the fuse leading up to the crime, and the fallout from the crime. So this is the approach that he takes when he looks at Jesus's life. Now, Wallace says the events leading up to the explosion, what he calls the fuse, will point directly to the time, the place, and the person involved in the explosion. On the other hand, he says the fallout would be a considerable ripple effect moving out from the event that leads back to uniquely that specific event. So in the case of Jesus, Wallace says the fuse would span centuries leading up to Jesus, and the fallout would be a transformed history going far out that points directly back to Jesus himself. Now, as we finish up here, I just want to point out that this book is not a book that says Jesus is important because the Bible says so. This is a book that says, if Jesus was really all that important, then I should be able to tell that from looking only at the history surrounding and leading up to Jesus's life and moving out from Jesus's life. So this is exactly what J. Warner Wallace does here. For the fuse, he looks at cultural developments leading up to the exact time, place, location, and circumstances surrounding Jesus's life. He also looks at other religions leading up to Jesus's life to see if he even stands out in any way among them, or if he is just a conglomeration of copycat myths. And then finally, he looks at the Jewish expectations of who Jesus claims to be, that is the Messiah. He looks at the Jewish expectations leading up to that to see if Jesus actually even fits the bill. Now, in the fallout, Wallace looks at the 2,000 years following Jesus's life, and he looks at the areas of art, culture, science, literature, education, music, and much more to document the growth and the change from that explosion of the Jesus event. So finally, Wallace gathers all the information together, the fuse and the fallout, and he asks the question, without ever looking to the New Testament at all, do these lines of evidence lead from both directions to that one explosive event of the life of Jesus Christ? Is Jesus of Nazareth actually a person of interest based on the fuse and the fallout of history? And I think the answer is unequivocally yes. But really, don't take my word for it. Pick up a copy of Person of Interest, read it, and see for yourself, evaluate the claims that J. Warner Wallace makes in this book. Now, believe me when I tell you, as I give you my take here now on this book, I have read over 100 books on Christian history, theology, apologetics, and things of that nature. And I can tell you that for the audience that this book was intended to be read by, this is one of the best and most important books ever written on the subject. Don't miss out on this. Do yourself a favor. Go out and get a copy today. Well, thank you so much for watching another edition of Resource Review. If you have a resource you would like me to review, go ahead and leave a comment down below in the comment section. And don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you can stay up to date with what we've got going on here at Theosogetica. Thank you so much, and God bless.